Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. I guess I'll talk about the topic. The topic today is around really transitions as parents. This was triggered by a surprise visit by Adam, my 19-year-old, who's a sophomore down at San Diego State. At 5 a.m. Saturday morning, I woke up, saw that I'd missed a FaceTime call from him just before 11 p.m. and I thought, oh no, what's going on? And so I just texted him and I was like, hey, what's going on? And surprisingly, he responded. Well, apparently he hadn't gone to bed, so that's why he was still awake. And he said that he was going to come home with his roommate and friend Barden, who lives just up the hill from us. They went to high school together and they've been friends for the last couple of years. And so I was like, so is everything okay? And he's like, yep. You know, monosyllabic responses, typical teenage responses. Great glare from Ray over there. Anyway.
Again, you misinterpret my facial
Okay, how was I supposed to interpret that?
Not that. It's not a glare.
It's
just a facial expression.
Okay. Anyway, I can never be right as the parent. That's fine. So anyway, I was pretty excited about him coming home, and
Why?
Because I hadn't seen him in 2 months. But thank you so much for teeing that up. I appreciate that. And the other thing is that last year, I asked for a daily proof of life Snapchat picture from him. And so every day in the morning, sometime in the morning, he would send me a picture and I would get a proof of life picture. And this year we started on the same. And then after a couple weeks, after we dropped him off back in August, he basically said, I'm not doing this anymore. Might have been, I'm not fucking doing this anymore, but it was pretty much, that was the end of it. So then I had to figure out, okay, what does that mean? So I backed off, even though it was incredibly uncomfortable, and it hurt my heart a little bit because with each of these transitions and kind of pulls away, the definition of our relationship continues to evolve, and that is something that has been, he leads on that, and I simply have to respond, react, and follow. I don't have a lot of control over that. And I remember recognizing this when he was just a couple months old, and because I figured it out with Adam, it made it a lot easier with you. It's not that I don't care as much with you. It's just once I figured it out, there wasn't as much friction as I tried to keep up with each of you as you moved into the next stages. And so this was something, he might have been 3-4 months old, 5 months old, when there's like massive and quick development that's happening. And I couldn't figure out why I always felt behind. Like, I was like, this was so much easier and now it's hard. And what I came to realize is every time it started to get hard, it meant that he was jumping forward and I hadn't adjusted because I was still operating in the old paradigm or the old situation. And we're continuing to have this dynamic as he gets older and older. I remember my mom saying at one point, I don't even remember what it was, but how hard it was, the shift when she moved to the back seat when we were driving, and she was no longer in the driver's seat. She was no longer the one who was, leading anything. And last year I went to a conference in San Diego. I think it was September of last year. And I remember taking Adam and Barden out to dinner and also out to brunch. And Barden has a car down in San Diego. So he ended up picking me up from the hotel, and then we went places. And I remember thinking back to what my mom said and sitting in that back seat and said to myself, this is the shift. Adam and Barden was in the driver's seat, Adam was in the front seat, and I was sitting in the back, and I was being kind of chauffeured around. And even though we were running various different errands and then they took me to the airport, it really was so symbolic of the shift in the relationship. And I cried, and I think I even said something to them. It's like, this is that time when I have shifted to the back seat and I need to adjust how I'm operating in this relationship. And then it also reminded me that, and I don't know if Zeke remembers this or not, but when when we left CPMC in San Francisco after Adam was born, I remember getting into our red Subaru wagon, and Adam was safely in the back in his infant carrier, snap and go. Well, maybe it wasn't the snap and go. Whatever. He was snapped into his car seat, and I remember looking into the back, and just on the drive, the 15-minute drive from the hospital to where we lived in the Mission, I remember basically having Adam grow up, go through high school, get to college, and then go off. And within 15 minutes, I was basically sobbing because I had him all grown up and gone. And it's just it was a very weird thing to do. And I think Zeke probably thought that I was crazy, but I basically... Well, I'm a really sentimental person, and
we know, Mother.
And I also struggle with transitions, endings, and beginnings.
Yes, Mother, we know.
I struggled with fewer of them with you than with Adam, but it was just one of those times where we'd moved beyond the pregnancy. He'd been delivered, and now we were moving into caring for a child and hoping to keep it alive. So there's just been a lot swirling in my mind, especially with this visit, which has been really great because I think it's going to be really short. And as much as I was so distracted on Saturday, I had some work to do, which I need to do, and some personal administration, and then I went to go play tennis, but it was hot and it was smoky, and I didn't play well, probably because I hadn't been exercising all week because of the smoke from the fires up in Napa. And I was just counting the hours until he got home, and he walked in the door, and I think I gave Barden a hug before I gave Adam a hug. And because they'd already had COVID, I wasn't really worried about them communicating it to us. But gave Adam a big hug, and it was just super easy. But I really did feel like there was a shift because it was just coming home for a quick visit. We had a nice dinner. Probably, what do you think? We chatted for an hour? I think dinner was about an hour, and just kind of caught up and talked about everything from school and classes and the fact that he paid zero attention to his classes the first week of school. Surprise, surprise. But he seems to be trying to make up for it. To baseball, to, how he's struggling to even find a job down in San Diego because he doesn't have a car. So I think you, Ray, probably appreciated not having me focus and attention on you. Or did you...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, what was the dynamic for you? Was it fine? Was it good to have him home? What?
I mean, it was definitely different, but it wasn't unwelcome.
Oh, good. I'm glad that his coming home for a little bit was not unwelcome. So then after dinner, he took a bath, and he, watched some stuff in his room, which was, typical. And, I intentionally was just like, I'm just going to let him be there. We got time over dinner. I'm not going to force anything more. And this is part of me catching up, not wanting to hover over him. And then I think about 10:30, his friend got off of work. And so he went and picked up a different friend. They're socialized for a couple hours out front. And I think he was home and in bed by 12:45 in the morning. It was both kind of nice to have them hanging out front because, it was just nice and comforting. And at the same time, I just knew it was very temporary, and he's going to be headed back. We're recording this on Sunday, and he'll head back home, hopefully after I record a video with him, which is hopefully the next one that will come out. So it just got me thinking about a lot of these things and how I'm having to shift in the world and how I'm having to shift as a parent. And then that also makes me think about how I parent you and what you need, and making sure you don't get lost in the now we're down to one kid shuffle.
What do you mean? How would I get lost?
Yeah, it's not like you go anywhere. Well, I mean, if I'm in the office and your dad's off doing something else, and then you're just kind of left to your own devices. I mean,
which I am perfectly happy with.
Okay.
And I have told you this a million times.
I know. I just want to make sure you're getting what you need. Oh, parenting, so much fun. So, what I meant to say at the very beginning was thank you so much for all of the comments about the miscarriage video. It was really well received, and the whole concept of normalizing the conversations around miscarriage apparently is something that hit home with a lot of people. And since I asked, raise your hand if you've had a miscarriage, a lot of women raised their hands. And then even on Twitter, some of the men actually came out and said, here was our experience with our attempt to have children, and this is where we were at. And after, I think I mentioned Sekou Andrews' video, which is Flawlessly Fallen. Oh my God, it's spectacular. So if you have a chance to watch it, I'll put the link into the description again. Take the time. And now that I know who he is and what he's about, I was so honored that he dropped into the room to talk about his fertility journey with his wife. And anyway, I highly recommend. I know it's 12 minutes. I don't think I've seen a lot of spoken word stuff, and I was pretty blown away. I'm like, how? Just how? So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support around that video. And if you do know of somebody who's struggling around normalizing conversation or should be discussing something, please share that video with them. I would really appreciate it. And then also, I just want to remind you that we have a Discord server set up for the Piloting Your Life book club. The first book back in September was Big Friendship, and I have a couple questions out there. And for those of you who've signed up for Discord, you have been put into the drawing for the cute little pin from Handheld Handmade. When I get back from Palm Springs, I'll be doing the drawing. The second book is The Pleasure Plan, and I will once I start reading it, I'll start putting some questions out there. So there's still time to go sign up for Discord. I'll put the link in the description for signing up for my Discord server. And maybe just the channel. I'm not quite sure how I...
No, you join the entire server.
Okay, well, good. That's joining the server. So there's still time to do that and start to have a conversation there, and maybe we can practice with a new communication tool that, Ray has open all day, every day for school. And I think it's just an interesting platform. I'm communicating a lot less on Facebook, and Instagram doesn't really provide for any sort of really good communications. So maybe Discord. Let's give it a try, see what happens. And I think with that, you're laughing at me over there with the whole Discord thing.
No comment.
So I think that's it. We're going to try to get Adam up so we can record the video. We are going to try to get over to Wegmans and buy some winter vegetables so we can have some goodness growing outside. And I will continue to work on the shift as a parent, letting my kids lead the way, even though it hurts my heart just a little bit. So if you have any thoughts and comments about this in terms of what your experience has been, any suggestions you might have, please go ahead and drop them into the comments or communicate with me at pilotingyourlife@gmail.com or any other way you know how to get a hold of me. There are a million different ways. So with that, anything else? I got the please shut up probably look. Yep, definitely got that. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Feel free to share this with anyone you think might be interested in talking about transitioning in our role as parents and our roles in the world as moms and dads and parents, or even if you're a guardian, auntie, uncle taking care of kidlets. Would love to hear your thoughts. And as always, take some risks, let go of perfection, and above all else, have some fun.